What's up, everybody? Carolina Jackpot time. Checking in. It's Friday morning. Sitting here in a little bit of traffic, so thought I'd whip it out. The phone, that is. Produce a little video. I watched one last night that kind of piqued my interest. There is a Clemson fan on here named Pigskin Pete. You may have seen his videos. Maybe you have not. Odds are you haven't. But just in case you haven't, his latest video creation, I'm going to link it down in the description box below so that you can go check him out. Because I wanted to offer a rebuttal to Pigskin's latest video adventure. He was naming off 4 coaches in the college football world that he feels like need to be replaced, feels like their time is up, feels like their work is done at their particular school. And I just wanted to offer my rebuttal or my agreement with those choices that Mr. Pete made in his video. Number one, all right, man says that Coach Ed Orgeron at LSU needs to go. Okay. What that's based on, if you watch his video, is the way Coach O speaks, his dialect, his choice of words, if you will. Yeah, a lot of people give the guy a hard time because, he told like this or something like, where that old boy, guy on the water boy. But, you can't argue the fact that he's a pretty good football coach. Yeah, he lost at Ole Miss. Okay, a lot of people have lost at Ole Miss. All right, it's not that's not the destination for the athlete today. What's his name that just got fired? Hugh Freeze. Yeah, he won there. I think we all know why. But other than that, people have not had a lot of success at Ole Miss. Orgeron was hired on as the head coach at LSU simply because the players wanted him there. The players wanted him as the head coach. He was the coordinator there under Lester Miles, and they weren't honking at me, by the way. Players wanted him. They loved the guy. They play hard for him, and that's basically why he's there. That's why he got hired on as head coach. Yeah. Did he lose to Troy this year? He did. What else did he do? He also beat Auburn, which also happens to be Clemson's signature win, I believe. That and the ACC championship game. If you can count the ACC championship game as a signature win, I really wouldn't, because Miami was obviously shit on a stick, and they can sit there all they want to and say, well, we had injuries. We were missing a wide receiver. Okay, yeah, I'm sure that one wide receiver would have made up 35 points. We were missing our tight end, yeah. Okay, I'm sure that would have made all the difference in the world. Miami was just hot garbage. They played a really weak schedule. Was I cheering for them to win that game? Of course I was. I'm going to cheer for anybody that's on the opposite side of you people. I mean, it doesn't matter. It does not matter who it is. If Russia, the Taliban team, don't matter. I'm going to pull for anybody against Clemson, and that's just the way it works. But he beat Auburn. I think he finished up 9-3, 8-4 this year. Not great, but dude, he's been there for. He's been the head coach at LSU for exactly 1 year. I think he took over as the interim, if I'm not mistaken, after Miles was dismissed last year. So, no, we're not ready to run him off after one season. I got to give you a big black mark on that one. That was not a good one. Second one he mentioned, Bill Schneider at Kansas State. Okay, now Pete's reasoning behind running off Bill Schneider, saying that he needs to go, is because he's old and because he looks like Skeletor on the sideline. And that's really the only reasons he can give you. I can give you some reasons he should stay. The man's won over 200 games at Kansas State. It's the only place he's been a head coach at. He also was gone for 3 seasons there. After the 2005 season, Schneider stepped down at K-State, and somebody else ran it for 3 years. I can't remember who it was, but he was so terrible that they brought Schneider back. In 2009, he's been there ever since. I believe he's been to a bowl game every year he's been there, except for maybe the first couple. If you want to go back and look at Kansas State football history, there's not a lot of it before Bill Schneider came there. I think they went to like 2 bowl games in maybe 50 years or something like that. Kansas State was absolutely terrible. I think at one point in time they lost like 30 games in a row. I mean, it was horrendous. 210 games, I believe it was. I looked it up this morning just to give you some facts. Yeah, and you say in your video, was born in 1939. Okay, that doesn't mean that we're gonna shove him on out to pasture there. Because that man is also making only a little bit over $3 million a year. That's relatively cheap for a Power 5 coach nowadays. So yeah, no, not time for Bill Schneider to go. The fact is, they don't win at Kansas State without him. And even this year, 7-5, they were picked to finish much better than they actually did. But 7-5 this year, win over Oklahoma State, win over Iowa State, I believe it was, after Iowa State had knocked off a couple of people. They did lose on the road to Vanderbilt, though. That one's befuddling to me, but they did lose there. So not a great year for Schneider at Kansas State, but dude, he's not going anywhere, whether you think he needs to or not. Fact of the matter is, that man's kind of like Frank Beamer at Virginia Tech was. It's kind of like Bobby Bowden was. They're people that built the program and can pretty much name the time when they're ready to leave. That's just how that is. So Schneider at Kansas State, ready to go? Nope. Got to give you a black mark on that one as well. It said Paul Johnson needs to go from Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's not a football school. I hate to tell you, Georgia Tech is a football school. Those people are pretty passionate about that football team. They have not had the best of luck in the past couple of years. They said the offense, is a throwback offense that nobody runs anymore. It's a high school offense. Yeah, it is. It's all that. But the fact of the matter is, if you have a good quarterback in that system, I mean, you can really make it go. And some good athletes. The fact of the matter is, this year, he didn't have a quarterback. That guy he had playing quarterback, what was it, like 5'6"? I mean, he couldn't even see over the line. So they didn't have the athletes this year to make that triple option go. But when you do have the athletes to make it work, it is very hard to defend. However, if you don't have the athletes to make it go, it seems to be very easy to stop. So that's how that is. Does Paul Johnson need to go? I don't know. Maybe I could give you a questionable one on that one. That's a questionably good point to bring up. It's gotten kind of predictable. And it's hard to recruit there. One of the reasons why is the academic standards at Georgia Tech are so much higher than they are at other Power 5 schools. I mean, it's up there with Duke, Northwestern, that type, Vanderbilt, that type of institution. So I don't know. That one's up in the air to me. And the last one he mentioned, near and dear to my heart, Coach William Boom Muschamp at the University of South Carolina, said he needs to go because he's been a loser everywhere he's been. Okay. Well, he had a winning record this year. He was 8-4. Still bowl game yet to come against the University of Michigan. Will we win? Will we lose? I don't know. It's going to be a low-scoring game. I'm sure I can tell you that. We're not favored to win, but I really think that not a lot of action's come in on that game yet. So look for that line to move. It has moved somewhat since it was since that matchup was announced in South Carolina's favor. Money's come in on the Gamecocks. Does he need to go? I'm going to have to give you a big resounding no once again on that one, buddy boy. Where do you get that from? Okay, he's been a loser everywhere he's been. quite honestly, his record at the University of Florida was 27-20. So, I mean, you can sit there and tell me it was a losing coach all you want to. The fact of the matter is, the numbers say different. He was not a losing coach. He had one losing season there. He had one season where he actually was 11-2. And I'm not hearing he did it with somebody else's players. Okay, well, you can hear that crap all day long. You can also make the argument that Jim McElwain won the SEC East 2 years with his players. I mean, it's who's coaching him here and now. What Coach Muschamp needs to do, he needs to get some coordinators down there that he can trust to run the show. That's what's made Dabo successful at Clemson. It's not Dabo. He's not X and O's guy. He's a program manager. Is that necessarily a bad thing? No, it's not. Now, you can coach the team, you can be the head coach, and you can run it however you want to. I mean, you can be the X's and O's man, and you can call offense, you can call defensive plays, you can do everything you want to, and you can work 900 hours a week. Or you can delegate. You can hire good assistants, you can develop good assistants, and you can delegate to them. And that's what Dabo's done. You're going to sit there and tell me that Muschamp needs to go because he's been a loser everywhere he's been. Had a bad offensive coordinator the past 2 years. Okay, what did he do? He fired his ass because he's not what he wants. What did Dabo do after the 2010 season with the coordinator he had, offensive coordinator Billy Gapier or whatever his name is? Fired him, got rid of him. Okay? Brought in Chad Morris. What happened? Offense lights out. What happened after they gave up 70? That's right, 70 points in the Orange Bowl after the 2011 season to West Virginia. What did he do with the defense coordinator, Kevin Steele? Fired his ass, right? Yeah. So that's what needs to. That's what Coach Muschamp is going to have to realize when he's not winning these ball games. He'll have to find some coordinators who can get the job done for him. Got to find some coordinators who can recruit as well. Our recruiting classes was in the top 20 last year. It'll be in the top 20 again this year. We want to be in the top 10. Top 20 recruiting class means top 20 program in a few years. Top 10 recruiting class, top 10 program in a few years. It's not hard to figure out. Does it always work out that way? No. There's a lot of other factors to it. But Coach Boom Muschamp has done, in my opinion, a great job since he's been at the University of South Carolina. Is there a couple more ball games he could have won? Yeah. I'm also a little bit disappointed this year, especially the Kentucky game and the Clemson game. Those were primetime games on a big stage that I don't feel like he had the team ready to play them. I really don't. He can sit there all day long and tell me, well, Clemson's ranked number one in football. The bowl, not the fucking bowl, I don't know. They get me so ill sometimes. We're number one in the playoffs. We're ranked number one. We blew you out. It wasn't because y'all wasn't any good. It's just because we're so great. No, not really. NC State, you didn't blow them out. They're mediocre. You didn't blow out Syracuse, obviously. They're worse than mediocre. You really didn't blow out Boston College. They're a little bit above mediocre. You really didn't blow out Florida State either. They're the definition of mediocre. So, no, South Carolina wasn't ready to play that game. Clemson took advantage of a couple mistakes, had a few big plays here and there, and then just basically, it was all done. It was done before even had a chance to get anything going. So, does Coach Muschamp need to go? No. If he goes a few more years and doesn't progress any, doesn't up the win total some more, doesn't get into a New Year's top bowl situation, possibly an SEC championship game, does he need to go? Yeah, they probably need to head in the right direction after that, but I'm not one to give up on somebody after 1 year, especially 1 year where they've actually done a damn good job. So, Pete, your opinions are crap. Tune in to Carolina Jackpots videos if you want to hear the truth. I'll see y'all later. Peace. I'm out. Go Gamecocks. Woo!